uh, I am delightful and I welcome my Professor Shiv Prakash for this discourse. And Professor Shiv Prakash earlier has delivered lecture, and all my friends and my students, I have already introduced Professor Shiv Prakash.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yes,
sir.
Who is from Institute of Technology, a science, Bangalore, and he is man of instrumentation. Engineering, electronics, and instrumentations is his field of interest, and he is expert in embedded system and development of high pressure and its applications. And he was rank holder in his post graduations from the Mysore University in 1978. He was actually topper, and he has received 5 gold medals till date, and he is a recipient of Young Scientist Award of Karnataka Association for Advancement of Science. And he has written, presented, contributed to the academic 170 papers in his kitty, and he is the reputed international scientist, not national. And he is consultant of DRDO, ISRO, DST, EC, CSI. This is all about Professor N.C. Shiv, and will deliver his lecture today. He will intend us. He will sensitize about the theme and new things in new education's policy 2020. Recently, it is launched by the MHRD, Ministry of India, and he will talk in general and more specific about the technical education. Dear friends, now we are living in a society which is called knowledge society, and this knowledge society is driven by the technology. And we are in the age of emerging technology. Day by day, technology changing, and we have to move with the moving technology. And we are proud of our legacy in technical education, but we are struggling for quality in technical education. And we have adopted, with the help of World Bank and to improve quality in technical education, build and excellence by acquiring technical education, technical knowledge in different area of technology. In our institutions, there are the high stream of technology, which is civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, electronics and communication engineering, and computer science engineering. And as per the Washington Accord 2014, and we have started the journey to convert our institution center of excellence. And we are moving, we are progressing day by day with the backup support of the mentor, Professor N.C. Shiv Prakash. He was our mentor at the College of Engineering, and he is our mentor at Bhagalpur College of Engineering. In education policy, we have to learn different new technologies such as artificial intelligence, three-dimensional machining, data analysis, machine learning, all the genome study, biology, nanotechnology, neuroscience, and important application, neuroscience, an application of technology in development of sustainable living on this. This is all about the technology, and Professor Shiv Prakash will discuss in details how to make excellence in technical education. particularly at BC Bhagalpur. We have our glorious past of BC Bhagalpur. We have started our journey in 1968, and we are more than 50 years old, and we have a big campus, lush green surroundings, all surrounded by the green tree, and we are living in a very beautiful campus. And in that sense, very village, and the environment of this campus is gifted, and day by day we are improving our environmental conditions for uh, learning, and we are focusing our attention towards the quality in technical education. It is all summary of brief deliberations which NC Prakash will make deliberations. And heartily welcome Professor Shiv Prakash, who is great teacher and he come here to inspire us. He come here to provoke us. He has come here to sensitize us to capture knowledge and develop right kind of attitude. And I request all my friends, my students, to give me in his welcome. Applause.
Thank you, Professor Nirmal ji. At the outset, I want to wish you a very happy Mahatma Gandhi birthday, and also Lal Bahadur Shastri. These two great characters of India. Thank you for your kind introduction, and thank you for giving the brief introduction about the NEP itself and the expectation. And also, I'm very happy to hear from you that you are one of the oldest engineering institution in Bihar. And I am also told that it is about 200 acres, very huge campus. So, and always I see Dr. Nirmal ji, he becomes younger and younger. People say, what is the age? After 1 year, they add it. But I think my good dear friend, he is so much of enthusiasm, so much of energy, so much of commitment, so much of dedication. I think he works 24/7. Even if I send something at 10 o'clock, he responds immediately. I think if Professor Nirmal Kumar ji can do that, I think all my young friends at Bhagalpur should learn from him, and I'm sure that you have been learning and you will learn and you will take that institute to a greater height. So with these few remarks, so with the permission of all of you, Sumit, I will can share myself because it's available. So shall I start my talk?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. All of you can see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
It's visible.
Okay, thank you, Professor Nirmal ji. Thank you for your acknowledgement. And today I thought I want to speak to all of you about a very, very important, aspect of the education, that is national education policy. So at the outset, I want to tell you that this is the third national education policy after our independence. The first itself came in the 60s, and the second one was way back in 1986. So about 34 years have gone by. So at least we are seeing this, and I hope in my talk I will try to give you some glimpses of highlights. Not that all of you know the national education policy took about 2.5 years to frame by Dr. Kasturi Rangan, our ISRO former chairman, with his group, and they did a big deliberation, and the draft is about 484 pages, very huge document. And later on 29th of July, 29th July happened to be a great day again, our Tata, JRD Tata's birthday. So that day cabinet has approved the national education policy. So therefore it is important that let us all try and understand what the national policy is. So my talk, every one of you understand. Why I say is, I told you last time, if you remember, if you can recollect, one of the Nobel laureate He is a biologist who told everyone, because he was talking to every walks of life, physics, chemistry, engineering, even so, society. So he made it very clear that my talk consists of three parts. First part, all of you understand. Second part, some of you understand. Third, none of you understand. But I will assure you in the beginning, upfront, all of you understand whatever I say. So that is the change that I wanted to tell you. And I will spend about 4 or 5 minutes about the next four topics, which I have covered substantially in the last one. So it's always nice to know how our education was, how it is today, and how it is going to be. And similarly, the industry also, it was, when you go back 100, 200 years ago, what it was and what it is today is to recollect in just 2, 3 quick, minutes. And as Professor Nirmal Kumarji said, technology is important. Today, technology plays a huge role. Even today we are here, I'm in Bangalore, you are there, wherever you are, it's all possible because of the technology. So therefore, let me spend 3, 4 minutes on this education, industry, and technology, and then come to straight away into today's topic. And today I thought that I want to divide my talk into 5 parts. Part 1, I wanted to highlight, tell you about the highlights of the national education policy. Not that I can cover everything because it's a huge document, but whatever is relevant for primary for 3, 4 minutes, and then about higher education, in particular technical education, let me say what are the new future and the salient future of this NEP, the objective behind this NEP. And my third part will be on implementation timeline. Please don't be under the impression that national education policy can be implemented in 1 year. It's just not possible. You see quickly when I move to that part, it takes about 20 years to see the fruits. It's a huge process. And of course, any education policy will take about, so many years. So there are large number of challenges. Fourth part of my talk, I will be covering that. But importantly, Professor Nirmal Kumarji requested me that I should speak about the role of institution, role of the Government Engineering College, Bhagalpur. What is that we can do as individual, as institute? That is what my talk is about. So this, just to recollect, I told you last time, those who have forgotten, because our memories are very short, COVID. COVID is always, very interesting, word. According to me, COVID is nothing but it's not a virus. We have to live with the virus. We have learned how to live, and now life has to move on. But what I feel from COVID is it has created an opportunity for victory in disaster. With all these pandemic, with all the lives that we are losing, with all the hazards that we are going, still we are finding, especially in education. Of course, all sectors, COVID is making a lesson, and our ecosystem has improved, our lifestyles have improved, but therefore in education especially, the COVID has helped us a lot. So BCSE, all of you know, before Christ and after Christ. Last time I told you, now we are after Corona. So all the era of the before Corona is over. So the future is going to be called as after Corona. Just a minute, because I've already told, the education started long ago, as all of you know, to lead to, the mere lecturing and memorization was a part of the education in the earlier days. That was, we call it as education 1.0. Later, as all of you in 90s, all of you know, internet came into being, and this has enhanced the learning. Open source are available, things are, just to tell you of a minute, when I was there doing my research late 70s, I used to travel all the way to Bombay or Delhi in a train to see one article in the library of TIF or Bombay or IIT Delhi. Those were the days. But today, by a click, you can see this is because of the internet. So therefore, the things, education has changed because of the internet. And then later, all of us realized that education should lead to knowledge. Without knowledge, there is no education, formal or informal. So therefore, in the third era, the knowledge producing education came into being. But later, in last 3, 4, 5 years, all of us have realized knowledge alone will not take us anywhere. So therefore, if you take your technical education, in addition to knowledge, you need skill, you need attitude. So therefore, they are all, you have to be innovative in our teaching, whether doing in a theory class or a practical or internship or any activity, any exercise, problem-based, project-based, experiential-based, any method that you adopt, you have to, as a teacher all of us should find an innovative way of doing things. Then they will remember you forever. Still, I remember my high school teacher who motivated me what I am today. So therefore, not that I remember all the teachers, but only few of them. So that makes a lot of difference. So now the same way the industry also has moved from industry 1.0 to industry 4.0. As all of you know, long ago in the revolution industry 1.0, we used to have a mechanical production machines which are powered only just either by water or by steam. That was an era. Very small equipments were manufactured. Later, after the World War II, 1945, then we started seeing the second revolution of the industry. There, mass production started. We started seeing the railway engine on the track and so on. And again, in third era of industry, because of the electronics and information technology, autonomous production have started. This is, we call it as third. But today, we have moved one step ahead in industry 4.0. It is all about cyber physical system. Everything we talk Internet of Things, cyber, everything in the virtual world, everything. So therefore, everything can be connected. So the why I showed these two slides is in the new education policy, it is envisaged that our policy should prepare our student for industry ready. Industry expect this, so therefore education in turn should take. Again, it is always nice to recollect our great man, first Asian physicist to have got the Nobel Prize in 1930 for Raman effect. And he used to say about the quality of education then, in long ago, students of today are being taught by teachers of yesterday with curriculum of day before yesterday. It is like, food that I prepare, I have a refrigerator, I keep it and heat it up in an oven and eat. That is not possible. Every day you have to have fresh vegetable. Every day you have to fresh, sambar we call in South India and you call in a different way, whatever the way dal. I don't think every same dal every day you will not eat. So therefore there should be a variety. There should be a change in the curriculum. There should be a change in the attitude of the teacher. So when Sir C.V. Raman said long ago, I think we should. Another great man, Einstein also said, he is a wonderful professor. He always says, I never try to teach my student. What he was doing, he was creating an environment where they can learn. That is what is going to be in the education 4.0. So therefore, they are all our role model, and we should. This is again a repetition. I will not spend time. I want all the faculty of the Bhagalpur Government Engineering College to belong to the 4th group or 5th group. That means I want all my colleagues at Bhagalpur to be a gifted teacher who inspires all our students and a modern teacher who facilitates. And just for the mere sake of teaching, you should not do. And explain also will not help much. In the 3rd and 4th, up to like a Bloom level, the 4th and 5th is what makes you. And having said that, education, as all of you know, will not only lead to knowledge. Knowledge alone will not take anything. Therefore, our technical education especially should give the graduate 4 important qualities, namely knowledge, know-how, wisdom, and character. So while they are there 4 years with you, they should acquire all these qualities. So what is knowledge? All of you know, to understand the basic principle, and formally or informal education. We learn many things even outside the classroom. Now, what is important is know-how. Know-how is to do things rightly. Suppose there are 10 solutions are given as an engineer, which one is optimized, which one is correct. So what is the right thing to do is what we have to prepare them. The next one is wisdom. Wisdom is to set the priority of work. Which one should I do? What is the priority? Every day when you get up, you should say, this is what I am going to do today. At least 70-80% you should achieve at the end of the day. Character is very important. In our days, I don't know, now it exists in a school day. While leaving the school, they used to give a character certificate. That his character is good. What it means is he should be a trustworthy, respectable member of the society. Self-esteem. I am a graduate. I am an engineer. I am a graduate of Bhagalpur. I am teaching in Bhagalpur. So therefore, you should be proud of yourself. So therefore, before just getting into new education policy, it expects all of you to change yourself from the olden day into a new era. There's a huge paradigm shift. What it means is a written exam that we had till today, it all will become coursework because formative, then a lot of assignment that you give. Tutor-led assessment is become student-led assessment. That's what you're doing in online. You may meet student individually or in a group, in a WhatsApp group. So therefore, a conventional class with 100 in the gallery teaching is all going away. Of course, it will come back after some time. Implicit all should become explicit. Now we cannot tell as a teacher, oh, don't you understand? That is very implicit. No, you tell them, they don't know. Therefore, you have to explicitly explain everything. And competition, what we call today, have become collaborations. You have to get together, you have to have a group discussion, you have to discuss, you have to, among the student, you make them, discuss peer review, peer mentoring is all important. Product will become process. Objectives will become outcome. Content, what we talk, unit 1, unit 2, all become competencies. I have, each teacher have to become competent in some area. I'm good in additive manufacturing. I'm good in cyber security. I'm good in data science. I'm good in IoT. I'm good in robotics. Each one competency is what you have to acquire. Both you and student, we are also learner. So then course assessment will become modular assessment. Those days have gone by. At the end of the year, there was exam. At the end of the semester, there was an exam. Now, at the end of every unit, every class, you may have to find out whether they have learnt or not. And these are some of the changes all of us should adapt for new education policy. Our new education policy, as I already told you, industry, today, as already Professor Nirmal Kumarji said, the students are, if the industry NIC says they are not employable, we have to make them employable. We have to make them acquire the skill. So today in industry 4.0, the expectation of the graduates are plenty. First, they need to know how to solve the complex problem. All of you know, as a computer science, if you know C language, how to write a program for find out the area of the circle, you will not get a job today. So therefore, some complex case studies, some complex problem you should take while they are. So critical thinking is an important component in the industry. Why industry? Everywhere. If you become a teacher, you should think critically. If you become any walks of life, you should do creativity. Even if at home, if they want to prepare food, if they don't prepare without thinking, you can't even eat the food. So therefore, that is important everywhere. So like this, it goes on and goes up to the cognitive flexibility. Cognitive flexibility, the example is today, these 2 months you are teaching in online. Next 2 months, if the student comes offline, you have to blend them. 60 students, they may come on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 30 of them you may have to do because of social distancing. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you may have to do online. So all these this is called flexibility. So cognitive is learning. As you know, Bloom said there are 3 ways of learning: cognitive, psychomotor, and the engineering subjects are learned in cognitive method. So cognitive flexibility you should bring him in the curriculum. What the same subject taught last year is not same today because platforms have not changed. The way you teach in the online is, as you all know by now, is quite different from what it was earlier. So therefore, the future India is with, that is why the education policy has come. We have to be Make in India, Digital India, and so on. So with this brief introduction, let me get into my first part of the talk. As I promised, highlights. I'm not going to talk all the NP new education policy highlights. Only few of them I will pick. So a country like ours, where 135 crore population, 35 crores of children are studying from LKG to the PhD, degree, diploma, and so on. Huge number. And there are about 1.1 crore teachers. What is the ratio? 1:35, which is not acceptable. Even today in a good school, more than 20 students are not in a LKG. So therefore, that teacher is a teacher. That's a challenge which I will come to the later part. And we have some 1,000 universities, 10,000 standalone autonomous institutes where the degree given, 40,000 colleges, 130 centrally funded institutions like IITs, NITs, ISER, and IIMs, and so on. So therefore, there is a big challenge for implementation of this national education policy. And also, that we are all familiar with 10+2 from last 50 years. That is first standard to 12th standard. 10 plus 11 and 12 are first pre-university, second pre-university in the state board. But in addition to that, we all gone through what is third 3 years, Montessori, LKG, UKG. So therefore, a kid, students before joining the engineering, they would have 15 years. This we call primary, higher secondary, and then second, middle and higher secondary. So this 10 plus 2 plus 3, 15 years. Now in the new education policy, they have made into 4 blocks: 5, 3, 3, 4. I will tell you in the next slide what are those and what do they do. And also, in the new education policy, doesn't want student to be tested every year at the end of final year. Up to first standard to 15th standard, we should not. What they want is final exam to be conducted only at the third year end, fifth year end, eighth year end. The rest of them should be formative, continuous evaluation. There is no point in 3 hours exam. For some reason, 3 hours a student fails, you will fail in the life. That is not a correct. So therefore, new education policy emphasizes on the formative, that is continuous evaluation rather than one final summative. And up to 5th standard, the education policy wants them to be mother tongue. As all of you know, the mother tongue people learn quickly, they understand them, and our regional language. This is what is envisaged. And 4 year, which I will tell you later, UG program will be divided 3 or 4. Those who are interested to go to MTech for research, 4th year, the curriculum will be different for them. And if they want ordinary BTech, now also we are introducing concept of BTech and BTech honors and so on integrated. I will talk about that. So what I am saying is, even in higher education, flexibility will be brought in. The first flexibility is multiple exit, multiple entry. Somebody joins for BTech, he doesn't want to do after first year. He should not go away without anything. He should get some certificate. How do we do? And if somebody goes for some economic problem of money, go to industry, earn money, and then come back, he should be able to enter again. So these things are going to be the reforms in the new education policy. So who is going to do all these things? No ACT, no UGC, no, there are hundreds of regulatory bodies, pharmacy, dental, and so on. One body will be created called Higher Education Council of India. Like Election Commission is conducting election all over the country. There will be a commission, HECI. And they are thinking broadly that a college with 300, 400 will not be critical mass. They are thinking any college should be viable with a good salary to be paid and good infrastructure. They want 300 students. So therefore, if some colleges with 700, 800, they may have to cluster themselves later, because they want to conduct single window exam. Like NEET is for medical. For all engineering in the whole country, from next year, they are thinking of doing one single exam where that should be used for admission throughout the country. Now students have to write so many exams, so many, that deemed university, this deemed university, that IIT, JEE, these things, so on. So that will. Another important highlights of the national education policy is gross enrollment ratio, GER. Today, about the present 2008 is about 26%. They want to, what it means gross enrollment ratio is, at the moment today, only 3.5 crores of students are getting into the higher studies, higher education. They want to double it by another 15 years. They want to see that higher education, the number of students, instead of 3.5 crore, they should reach to 7 crore. This is what the meaning of GR. And also in the research grant, all of CSIR, UGC, that agency, biotechnology, mining, so many agencies, we don't even know how many are there. But they want to replace, like America, one single point called national research funding. They want to create 20,000 crore. They want to divide all the universities into 3 groups. One is called multidisciplinary education university. The second one is research university. Third one is teaching university. They want to divide this 20,000. So therefore, only the top university should not get the money. If they get 10,000 crore, the other two also should get 5,000 crore to be distributed. Equity is important, inclusiveness. And the education policy talks about holistic. Now today engineers know engineering, but they don't know even full engineering. Now what they are contemplating is, they need to know science, they know engineering, humanities, arts, liberal art, music, social. Choice should be given to student. If some student are, why do we say PCMB, physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology? We are fixing. No, I will take physics and chemistry, and I will take economics. I will take. Of course, there are not easy because we need teachers, but that is what is going to be the order of the day in future. Choice. I was in Germany. Only 3 students were performing experiment in Berlin. I asked them why only 2 of them are there. In Germany, I saw in engineering education, 12 experiments that they have to do. The student have a choice to choose the labs of a professor and go and do. So this lab was chosen by only 2. In India, we say you do this 12 and these 12 days. The menu is fixed. First day, this, second day, this. That is not the holistic. The next one is multidisciplinary, life skills, employable. You have to bring in personality development. One is curriculum, one is co-curricular. Now today, co-curricular, extracurricular activity and transdisciplinary is not giving that much of importance. If somebody gets a degree in nanotechnology, he will not be selected as a professor, assistant professor in any college. No, your degree is not in physics, your degree is not in BTech. So that kind of a should go away. When you are interdisciplinary, you can go from anywhere to anywhere. That is, in America, somebody does mathematics, but he is in electrical engineering. Somebody is there in mechanical engineering, he is gone and joined the physics department. Somebody from biology, they will go to computer science. So these are all possible that they want to bring. And lastly, the MHRD, what we call Ministry of Human Resource Development, is renamed already as a Ministry of Education. This is what the change is. So therefore, I tried to give you only few. So I told you that the primary education has got 5, 3, 3, 4. There are 4 stages. The first stage of 5 years, that is Montessori, LKG, UKG, first standard, second standard, will be called as foundation stage. So in the foundation stage, multi-level play activity-based learning will be there for the children. Now today we are saying first year students should go on the online teaching. What do they understand when we talk in the online teaching? They should play. This is, I'm seeing in the Canada, there the kids will not carry anything from home. There is already a locker in the school. They go to school, open the locker, they study, they leave them and come back. They can be happy bird at home. That is what burden should be reduced. Now today in India, LKG should be 5 kg, UKG should be 6 kg, first standard should be 7 kg. Like this, the number of kgs that he is holding, that is not the. So the second level of preparation for 3 years is called preparatory stage. So in the preparatory, in addition to play and discovery, activity-based interactive classroom learning will take place, so that they will be prepared even by the time they come to BTech. So in the third stage, from the age 6 to 8, from the 11th age to 14, that class 6, 7 and 8 is called middle stage, middle class we used to call. Their experiential learning will be introduced in science, mathematics, arts, social science and humanity. So that student at that stage will be prepared, so that they should not worry when they come to BTech. And the last stage of the secondary education is called secondary stage, is called in the primary and higher secondary. The fourth stage is called secondaries for 4 years. That is standard 9, 10, 11, 12. No PUC 1, PUC, first PUC, second. So from age 14 to 28, they will be introduced the concept of multidisciplinary study. And greater the emphasis will be given on critical thinking, flexibility, choice to the student. So today we have option, elective and all that. So they get worked up when they come to BE because they are not prepared from primary. So therefore, this is called holistic. So new education policy, even in the primary level, we want to prepare them with all these ingredients. That is it. So now, having said about some of the highlights, I will get into the second part of my talk, where what is the objective of the national education policy. According to me, there are 7 objectives. The first one being self-reliant. Why? As all of you know, Government of India said, make in India. Foreign investment should come. We should give job to our people. We should earn money. Part of it we should give to the investor. Now what is happening? All the people will go and work for others and then make America great and other great. But India will. So self-reliant, skill India is what is important. Startup India, and latest being Atma Nirbhar India. So that is the first objective of the new education policy. So, and also, by now, COVID-19 crisis has proved the validity and necessity of self-reliance. No country can help other countries. They themselves are in trouble now. America themselves economy has gone down. So therefore, we have to be self-reliant. We have to earn. We have to eat. We have to sustain ourselves. That is what is happening. And employability through self-sustained skill-based. So new future, you have to produce If someone is good in computer, someone is good in whatever the skill, we should produce them. I will talk about this little later in the next slide. And higher education, as I already told, 26% to 50% they want to. So this is the first objective of the national education policy. The now having reached the self-reliance, you should sustain. Self-reliance is not for 1 year or 2 years. I must sustain. Sustainable technology we talk. So therefore, according to United Nations, there are 17 sustainable development. But India have created 39 skill council. I am one of the member of the skill council called IESC, Infrastructural Equipment Council, skill council. There JCB and all, there are infrastructural equipment that they use for all the construction and all that. How do we train them? Or those who are already, how do we certify them? So therefore, in India, there are 39 skill and various things have already been developed. So therefore, sustainability is extremely important. Third, any education policy should lead to economy booster. Without, as all of you know, education is prime. Without education, country will not prosper. The good road that you see, good education lead to good hospital, good cloth that we wear. So therefore, education is very, very important. And any good, progressive country will burn. So therefore, economy booster, those days muscle power was ruling the country. Next, money power came, and that should go. Now, in 2020 onwards, it is knowledge power. India should become a knowledge hub. So knowledge economy. So knowledge education gives knowledge. This knowledge should lead to the knowledge economy. So therefore, in keeping this mind, the government of India, at the moment, they are spending 3% of the GDP. They want to increase the grant to 6%, double it. But I tell you, even 6% is not sufficient for even primary education. Very huge country, So therefore, incubation enters reinforce. So finally, startup, incubation, self, all these things only should generate money for the country. Today we have what is known as CSR, corporate social responsibility. 2% of their profit they should give it for education. They put education cess on it. So therefore, country, private, public, and everybody should pool the money and see that new education policy is implemented. Every one of us should. So the fourth important objective of the new education policy is internationalization of the education. Now, internationalization means people will go, those who have money will go to USA, UK, Germany, study 30,000, 30 lakhs, 60 lakhs. Everybody cannot afford. So therefore, government thinks, those people should come here. When Oxford comes here, Oxford should not teach the Oxford syllabus. They should teach the Indian curriculum. Higher Education Council will say, this is the curriculum, this is the fee structure. So they should come, they should take part of the profit. That is the objective of this internationalization. Idea is not to them and then close our college. The credit, why I mention here, if you go to America, credits are transferred from one university to another university. Suppose I'm in Buffalo, I go to some Pittsburgh, for my father is transferred, I can carry all my credit and go and study. But in India, even in IIT, it is not happening. So therefore, this is another important thing they want to bring in. I will touch upon it later. And the sixth one is digitized pedagogy. All of us are. Today, my lecture is being heard in Bhagalpur. So digitize means because of the COVID, digital libraries have to be created. All of you know that IIT Kharagpur is a nodal for National Digital Library. With your Gmail, you can go there and then log in, see all the articles. If something you require, you send a request, the librarian of that will be sending to Motihari librarian. So therefore, Government of India, like Brazil, like China, they want to make national library where every researcher in the country should be able to use. There is no point in spending 15 crore for IAC, 15 crore for IITs, it's a waste of money. So already digitization of content. If you go to that NDL, you can see primary high school textbooks. Today in Bangalore, students don't have to buy the textbook. It is it is there in the digital form. Now digital pedagogy has come already, and classroom, online teaching. So therefore, in future, digitization pedagogy and classrooms will be created. Not an easy task, huge country, scalability is also important. So now the last part of this important thing is accreditation. Now, our aim is to make all the colleges autonomous. Autonomy will not come unless your quality is reached. How do you reach this? There is a accreditation. So therefore, the autonomy to the faculty and the institution will be defined, and then they want to differentiate between degree granting and standalone. So each university in that by 10 years now, the Motihari College Engineering should become a teaching university where you can give degree. In the next 5 years, after accreditation, you can become autonomous, so that you can have your own board of studies, academic council, and governance, and then so this is where the new education policy is moving. So now the accreditation will not be done only by NBA and NAC. They will give it to huge number of people, like all professional society, IEEE, computer society, and so on. So the future accreditation basically will be on the quality of the faculty, will be on the research facility, about the GER, about the technology that you have for the online teaching. These are the parameters. Now today, what is the size of the classroom? How many classrooms you have? You don't have 66, feet is not there, 50. Those days will go. So quality will be changed. Now, I said about highlights. I said about 7 important objectives of the national education. Who is going to do this? The teachers. Without teachers, none of the education policy can be implemented. So teachers have to be trained in latest technology and education methodology. The whole thing has changed. So therefore, India has got about 730 districts, or about 800. So they want to create in each district one national agency where all the teachers will be trained with digital. That is important. The next 1 year, 2 years, if you don't do, then we will not be able to cope. The higher, salary should be given to the teacher. You cannot be giving a peanut. That is, and in a teaching, all of B.Ed, M.Ed, where high school teacher and then BA, BSc college teacher they go through M.Ed, where they understand how to teach. But in engineering, medicine, pharmacy, you can teach whatever you want. There is no methodology. So therefore, in the new education policy, they also want to embed how somebody wants to become a teacher from BTech 4th year onwards, how to do it. Their next 2 years, the curriculum is being developed in line with the BTech. So all of you know a good research student may not be a good teacher. All the people who are doing research, they may be a researcher, but they may not be a good teacher, only 10-20%. So but every teacher should become a good researcher, vice versa. This is true. Without doing a research, you in future, you cannot be. So research will improve your teaching quality, teaching will improve the research. So now, as already told you, the rote learning is, rote means routine, simple, go to a class with the notes, you write down, you take down, all those things will go away. Applied knowledge has to be, introduced. So now I'll come to my third part, implementation time. Having said about highlights and the salient feature, the third important part is timeline. So all of you now, by now know, it cannot be done in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It has to be planned over 10, 15, 20 years. Because by the time primary students, if you introduce, by the time they come, it takes about 10, 15 years to have that kind of a knowledge. So one model is for existing, when they are joining, what to do. And from beginning, what to do. There are 2 phases. So therefore, the implementation, next 5 minutes or so, I will tell. And again, in NEP, second NEP, in 1986, took 6 years to implement. Now we cannot afford 6 years. We have to start. So there are, so I told you while talking about highlights in the higher education, there will be a credit bank. Credit. So how do we do? How to transfer credit? They are working. Do you think all the colleges, 3,500 college credit can be transferred from Bharatpur, Bhagalpur to Motihari, Motihari to Gaya? It's not possible because we have to achieve. So what they are thinking is in the next 1 year, they want to implement them in IIT, NIT, and Central University. These 100 institutions, they will do that in the next 2 years. Once they learn all these things, then we'll go to autonomous. And then after 5 years, it will come to Motihari when you become autonomous, when you become university. So therefore, it will be done in stages. So in the there will be a common entrance exam, as I told you, from next year itself. The second important, when you want to do this, I want to say, how do you do? National curriculum framework is required. Unless you have NCFC, comprehensive national curriculum, right from primary higher education to be implemented, then only it is possible. So curriculum framework for teacher also is emphasized, and professional standards for a teacher. To become a teacher of the technical education, what should be there? they want to, by next 2 years, they want to come out with some guideline. Assessment system of the schools also in the next 2 years they want. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is, in the next 1 or 2 years, preparatory things will go on at various stage in terms of preparing the faculty, existing faculty, reforming the curriculum, and so on. And also the next, biggest thing is 50% learner should go to vocational education. There is no concept of vocational education at the moment for student and teacher. So always I say, remember last time I told every teacher should go to industry for 1 week so that you learn what the industrial problems are so that you can implement them when you come back. By 2030, 10 years from now, they want to extend the support early childhood care education. Every child should go to school. Now there are a lot of dropouts. You can see in a cafeteria, 10, 12-year boys and girls are working. So that should go away. Therefore, what it means is 100% gross enrollment ratio at the present secondary level, primary and secondary, every kid, 100% they want to achieve. Then the new B.Ed concept, what I told, will be introduced. The other one is one of the important thing, the timeline they are thinking for multidisciplinary. So every district, as I already told you, will be there to prepare the existing teacher. In the next 10 years, by 2030, all higher education, IIT, IIM, NITs, and so on, 130, they should become multidisciplinary. The name of the IIT may be changed after 10 years because IIT cannot live with only BTech, MTech, PhD. They need to bring science, they need to bring medicine, pharmacy, law, everything should come as an university. So IITs also should become a multidisciplinary university. 2035, the GRE is doubled from 25% to 50 years. So to double that, you need 50 years. But there are challenges which I will take in the fourth part of my talk. And affiliated colleges, all the affiliated colleges will be converted into autonomous in the next 5 to 6 years, so that they can frame their own syllabus in the line with the next 20 years. By 2040, high quality education for all learners, regardless of social background, inclusiveness, and that is what your equity in everything should come. So therefore, you can imagine if really everything, if you want to see the fruits, it takes about 10, 15, 20 years. That is the way it is planned. I mean, it is how it is planned. Now, I will take one example. Let us say at the moment you have 4 years BTech, 2 years MTech. Now that they want to replace because of the concept of multiple entry, multiple exit, and also about research teachers. So therefore, what they are contemplating is 5 years bachelor degree. And that means integrated program, where first 3 years normal BTech. If somebody wants to go for a MTech, 4th year research component will be brought in. And at the end of the 5 years, you get both BTech and MTech. This is what they call it as integrated. And those who want to become a teacher, so in the 3rd year of BTech, 4th year, they should take some subject in the research-oriented research methodology and all those things. Then 5th year, after that, they will be admitted to the PhD program. So therefore, bachelor degree will now have 3 and 4 years both version. 3 years for ordinary, 4 years for this, 5 years for the MTech, and then so on. So then will be an exit, as I told you. Today, if I do physics, chemistry, mathematics, some few subjects, if you exit with certification, that certificate is of no use. I must design my curriculum in such a way that you should acquire some skill so that you can go and, now diploma students are better than BE people, they say, because skill are oriented, mechanical, automobile. So therefore, we have to change the pattern of the curriculum of the existing 1st year BTech, 2nd year BTech in the future curriculum. That they will do in the next 2 years, and that model curriculum, like AICTE model curriculum is there, same way in the next 2 years, the curriculum will be prepared by hundreds of committees in the country, and then they will give it to all the engineering programs. So therefore, in America and Canada, if you go, a fellow after 2 years, for whatever reason, you want to drop and then go to industry, earn some money, and then come back and join, that is there. So you can. So that is not there in the India. So that is what we call it as a midterm drop. You can drop, go, and then come back. That's why it's called entry and exit. Both are permitted. And the bachelor's degree, they want to bring the concept of these transdisciplinary arts, science, etc., etc. And then by 2040, they want to make the multidisciplinary. So whatever I told you is all available in this chart. So therefore, let me not spend time. Already I have shared my PPT with Dr. Sumit Mane. So I request him to share all the slides, my slides with all the people who are attending. Okay. So you decide, those who are not attending, whether to give or not, it is up to you. Of course, even if you don't give, they will copy from somebody. We have always, pirated versions, so therefore give it to everybody is my advice. So therefore, I skip this to save time. And now I'll go to my fourth part of my talk, which is the challenges. All of you know, in next 15 years, we have to become universities are autonomous. All 3,500 college in the engineering should be given degree. We are talking about engineering. There are 40,000 colleges in the country, BA, BSc, BCom. They also have to become a GIVID. So that is a big challenge. Now, another bigger, more than that, the biggest challenge is shortage of faculty. I told you for 35 crore, we have only 1 crore teacher. So suppose even if you think of a one teacher, you need to, suppose the GRE also has to go in the next 15 years, 50. So therefore, in higher education, you need to double. Today, if Bihar, I am told, Public Service Commission is hiring another 1,000, but that 1,000 is not sufficient. You may have to have another 1,000 quickly in the next 1 or 2 years. In the next 5 years, you need so the number of the faculty, and it is not enough to get the faculty, trained faculty. Trained in what? Technology savvy. Because future is going to be pedagogy, that. And this is one part. The next important part is curriculum. From primary to middle to higher school to college, a holistic, critical thinking should be embedded in the standard 9, 10, 11. So that will be done in the next 2 years. So curriculum development is a huge task. One group of people will be working. Quality, because we have to do accreditation. Now I think that today the message is loud and clear to all of you in Bhagalpur. We cannot survive without accreditation. If you are not, the college, they may even think to merge with somebody and then you have to run with them. Therefore, the number of institution, good institution is important than number of total. Today we have mushrooming colleges, too many colleges that we have. So the other one, infrastructure has to be doubled, 25% to 50. If you want to do, the number of buildings have to be doubled. Then not only physical, network has to be doubled. Today we have a network issue. And in India, like is public versus private. 90% of the engineering is private. Only 10% is government and government aided. Only 400 colleges. And all government college, teachers are not there. So therefore, and also not only that, urban and rural. Some college in the rural, some in the Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta. How do we? This is also a challenge for a new education policy, because we want to give for education everywhere. And another challenge going to be in the new education policy is emphasizing the personalized teaching. That means, a student, suppose 15 students today, if 3 of them are not understanding, they will catch you in the online and you have to teach. Weak student, slow learner, fast learner. You may have to use AI, give some tool, let them see how much they are learning. Then you have to adapt yourself as a teacher. That's another challenge. And finally, the biggest challenge of this new education policy is full equity. Easy to say equal, everybody is equal, everybody fee is 1 lakh, everybody can go, but somebody charges 20 lakhs, somebody charges. So everybody should be affordable. Inclusiveness is important. And synergy in curriculum, that is a tough job, because in the next, for standard 1 to 15 years, curriculum also has to be good. Then, autonomy. We are a big aim, aiming to make all colleges autonomous. Good governance is required. No government interference should be there. Government governance should be, the board of governors should be empowered. Sustainable, the multidisciplinary university finally will come with next 10 to 15 years. So therefore, a lot of challenges. Biggest challenge is fee. The fee, one college is taking now 100 rupees, another college is taking 10 lakhs. So how do we really, government, who is going to do that? I will tell you in the next slide. So assessment. Summative, we will go, and then formative. Their academic bank credit, a big challenge. I told you that student can go across at the end of every year. He can change the college and go depending upon his choice. So therefore, that is a big challenge. And now all these things are not simple. Therefore, what they are proposing in the national education policy is superannuated faculties from all the good institutions, and also even in Bhagalpur. Professor Nirmal Kumar is very motivated. He also will become a mentor, national mentor, so that each college will be given a mentor. to prepare them next 2-3 years. Then only it is possible. And also technology forums are required. Today you have Atal, NEET, so many platforms are there for virtual lab, for learning. So that also will be created in the national level. And finally for research, NRF. So now you have seen, I told you some highlights, I told you some salient features, I told you the timeline, it takes 20 years, and also I told you the challenges. Okay, who is going to do all that? There is one council called Higher Education Council of India, which has got 4 wings. One is for regulation, another is for accreditation, third one is for funding, and fourth one is for framework. So the job of the first vertical is National Higher Education Regulatory Council. Single point, no ACT, no UGC, no pharmacy, all these things go away. Except medical and legal, all education in the country will come under HECI, National NHERC. So they will regulate, they decide. Now, the second one is accreditation. You know that when education is going on, quality is important. So no NBA, NAC can do. So they create a National Accreditation Council called NAC, and so many bodies have to help. Like, professional bodies like IEEE, Computer Society, all the people have to help. That is happening in America, Canada, and all that. So therefore, that is the second vertical. The third vertical is grant. Any institution will not run without money. So who is managing the money? How do we fund the money? That is by the third vertical, HEGC, Higher Education Grant Council. And fourth one is very important, we call Education Council. So graduate attributes. So whether all the graduate attributes, I framed a curriculum, whether it is happening, what is the outcome? Outcome is, all of you know, that has to be done. So therefore, under GEC, they create a National Higher Education Qualification Framework, which will take care of. So therefore, all the things that I spoke today, these 4 bodies with so many thousands of people will be involved in this 4, so many subcommittees. So they will be doing it. Now, reduction of now you understood. When I want critical thinking, when I want so many other curriculum, you cannot have 5 kg, 10 kg, 20 kg. Curriculum has to be reduced. Core essential is required. Critical thinking component should come. Then, experiential learning should come. So therefore, since I'm sharing, what I'm trying is, I'm not, all these things I've already explained. 2 years, they give diploma, 3 years, bachelor degree, academic council, multidisciplinary, anything, whatever the things that I have spoken is all in the nutshell is shown in this National Research Foundation, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so this, since I'm sharing, let me save time and go to the last part of my talk, which is very important. As Professor Nirmal Kumar ji said, okay, I told about National Education Policy, which you can read, but what is that we can do as the Government Engineering College, Bhagalpur? So let me spend time on that. Can I take 5-10 minutes? Yeah. So, if anybody wants to become academician, you go to America. If you want adventurous, you go to Australia. If you want innovation, be in India, because India has got a first letter called I. I is for innovation. Indians are all innovative. So therefore, India is a great country. And now, first thing that I want Government Engineering College faculty to have is can do attitude. No, it is difficult. This is not there. That is not there. With all that, how do we do? So mindset, change of mindset is extremely important. Then second, readiness of faculty members for making a shift. Paradigm shift, I told you, we have to be ready. That is the second. Third one is we have to review our current program. What is viable, what is not there. Of course, unfortunately, you are not autonomous. You don't have that freedom. Aryabhatta University decides that. But still, faculty selection, faculty is important. I'm told that Bihar Public Service Commission in the next 6 months, 1,200 faculties positions will be filled. And adequate internet connectivity. And my request to Bhagalpur TechUp coordinator is, now the money which is there in the academic part, earlier you had about 60, 30, 10, that 30% academic cannot be spent. Government of India has decided 10% can be moved to equipment. There you can spend for your, internet facility, your smart classrooms, anything that you want to do, learning in LMS, digital thing. So please plan and see that the 10% additional, which is about 1 crore out of 10 crore, and I'm sure that you can use it. So usually in a mechanical engineering, there are three, flow, a water flow, they divide into three groups. One is called laminar flow, which is no hurdles, it just goes. Second one is called boundary, there will be some hurdles. And third one is turbulent. In Bombay, if it rains, everything, even car will be drowned. So education also, if you have 3,500 colleges, some 150 colleges are laminar. That means new education policy can easily be adapted from next year in IIT, NIT, and they are come under laminar. Now, some of the autonomous institutions are in the boundary because next 3 to 3 years they can jump over to laminar. Now, Bhagalpur is in the turbulence because of various things, teachers, building, so many things. So we have, because we have to become autonomous, then only become the degree giving university. So therefore, now always in management, there is one word called VUCA. VUCA means anything I study is volatile, uncertain, complex. My life is uncertain. My life is volatile. We say, always, all of us, God, I don't know. So, but you have to find a solution. According to me, the solution is in the reverse direction. V for volatile, U for uncertain, C for complex, and A for ambiguous. How do you solve this? We know this situation. To solve this, A on the right side, accept and adopt. Yes, this is our status. You move on. Collaborate, C for collaborate, and U for unified, teamwork, and V for finally we become valued and victorious. So therefore, even VUCA problem is there, we should be able to solve. Now I have 2 minutes I'll spend to give some idea to your college. You know that students are smart. They do innovative, they have ideas. So what you do, second year student, if they have some idea, by the time come to third year, they can convert that idea into a product into a project into an intellectual property. But one danger in this is, the student in second year who is good will go to third year, fourth year, and he will go leave the thing. So my suggestion for all of you is, what you do is, with an aptitude test, find out from the group, you make some different groups, robo group, artificial intelligence, additive, whatever the area in which across the department, you pool 30 students for each area. 30 students, 10 from second year, 10 from third year, 10 from fourth year. Okay, they will work for 1 year with some idea, they get something out. But it will not vanish because fourth year student pass out, first year will get in. So the next year also 30 students are there. So it is a sustainable model. So therefore, in the next 3 to 5 years, you can see some ideas will be converted to a project, to a product, to a patent, and so on. I want to see some 5 patents in the next 5 years if you do. So for this, you need to create one GEC-RISE, RISC. What is RISC means? R is simply research. I is innovation and incubation. S is startup. And E is entrepreneur. Without a research, without an idea, you cannot become a startup, you cannot start. Without a startup, you cannot have an entrepreneur. So therefore, you create one. Now you may have some innovation center, some incubation center, some ideation. All of them are in different. So there should be homogeneous single where you make this. 30 I gave. It can be 20 group of 20, someone robo group club, someone this, so that plenty of things will come out. So this is my first suggestion to the college, so that in the next 5 years your college will grow, and then you you have ingredient to become an autonomous. You can conduct exam, you can syllabus, you can change, everything is possible. And technology, as Allah already told, I will not touch. For teaching, technologies are there today. For assessment, technologies are there. For conducting exam, technologies are there. And artificial intelligence, one example, all of you know, can be used for personalized learning and virtual lab creation. AR, VRs are there. And and e-convocations are done. Recently, IIT Bombay has done e-convocation. A guest was there, virtual, and then student. And then remember, 2020, there is no convocation. We got degree like this. But then, a convocation with the gown and all that, some photographs are taken. So everything will be virtual for some time. And the next important thing that you should do is smart LMS. This 1 crore extra that you can move from academic to the procurement in your TechUp grant next 3 months, try to buy what is the best learning management system. where I can good teaching takes place, good assessment takes place. That you find out and then do it. And then uh, future all of blended. It's going to be flexible curricula, assessment tools, experiential learning, formative, etc., etc. Credit transfer will not come to you. It will take another 6 to 8 years by the time it comes. But some new LMS system that you have to create. Now, the third important thing that I want you to do in Bhagalpur is virtual lab. What you do now, even in pandemic, some 3-4 students who are there, who are nearby, who can come to college with a social distancing, while performing the experiment, let them talk. That can be recorded like a lecture. Even conducting the lab, not a passive, active one where they can speak. I am connecting these, the virtual lab like that. Each mechanical, civil, electrical, computer, and electronic can try to build up every semester some 2, 3, 4 experiments and then load into your website so that the student who are denied in the next 4 months, they also can look at their student, their peers doing the experiment. In addition to www, your virtual labs are there in the IIT website which I have showed you. Okay. vlab.co.in. If you press, you get all virtual labs. In addition to that, your experiment you can add in your website. So then there are so many things you are seeing in the TechUp too. GIAN, Global Initiative for Academic Network, Spark, Scheme for Promotion, where a person from higher institution or from abroad can come and spend 1 month in your institution, 4 months in your institution, can teach one course. Government is going to fund in the new education policy for all these things. So finally, if you do your RISE center, it will create a center of excellence. So finally, if somebody says Bhagalpur, they have created this, they have done this. I think with Dr. Nirmal Kumar's leadership, certainly all these things are possible. So I told you an idea where ideation center there, where students will work on different area. Ideation will lead to incubation, incubation will lead to startup, startup will lead to entrepreneur. So therefore, we have to see some entrepreneurs. And idea is one entrepreneur from your college can give 5 to 10 jobs in the next 3-4 years. The company grows. So startup itself has beautiful word. As I told you last time, it has to be a successful technology you have to use. You have to move quickly. Agility is important. Re-engineering, Korea, Japan, they just reverse engineering, they do and then do. T is for team. Unique approach is required. And any startup needs persistence and societal problem you should take. Be it an health sector, energy sector, or in the village they may have problem with water, problem with road, any problem that you have, apps or here, any solution that you give for rural area in India will have a lot of opportunity in the startup where government of India is going to give money, lot of venture capital. So I will just list you to recollect what I said last time. So many future technologies, not the 8 that I have shown here. The artificial intelligence can be used in education for personalized as well as exam. In medicine, they use for diagnosis and for cure. Drug delivery is also done. Surgeries are done with AI. Now genetic testing is done. All 135. Today, another area where of course may not have much relevance in your, but 3D printing is additive manufacturing, where mechanical engineering, electronics, they all mechatronics, they can come together and then you can create. Augmented virtual reality is going to be the order of the day. An experiment in the real world can be conducted by using this technology. Autonomous vehicle, driverless, it may be difficult, but electric vehicle is a possibility. Where we have to, in the next 10-15 years, there may not be a petrol and diesel. We may have to come out with only, when you go the road, you have only electrical, the charging stations. So that you can work on. Hyperloop, beautiful. Yesterday I was reading in Japan, they have, now bullet train has gone. Now they made a train which has gone 500 kilometers in just 10 minutes. 1,800 kilometers per hour underground. Supersonic speed. Fantastic things are coming. People from Patna to Delhi within no time you can go. That is how 10-15 minutes they are going 500 kilometers. So that is another area. Smart city is a beautiful concept. India has got 100 cities have been identified. Civil engineers have a lot of opportunity. Mechanical engineers have an opportunity. Electrical engineers, computers, electronics, they have communication. So smart city will not become unless a good communication, good infrastructure, good road, good hospital. So therefore, there's a future in in Indian context. So therefore, new education policy, I want Bhagalpur to take some of this. Now I tried to do in the last 70 minutes or so. What is the highlights of the NAP? What are the salient feature? In the third part of my talk, I told the timeline. And fourth, I said, what are the challenges? Fifth, I said, what Bhagalpur College of Engineering can do. So to achieve this, we need to work together, collaborate with each other, tolerate the difference. Academicians, we have differences. That is not, you have to debate, respect the diverse view, because none of us is as smart as all of us in Government Engineering College, Bhagalpur. So thank you all for giving me this opportunity to, that I remember this forever, because I have given this talk on the day where Mahatma Gandhi has birth. So my Mahatma Gandhi 2020, 2nd October 2020 will be, will be remembered for my life. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Nirmal Kumar ji, and of course Sumit is always energetic. Morning itself he alerted, sir, we are looking for your talk. So I am also looking forward. He helped me a lot in terms of connection, in terms of things, and the tech coordinator, HODs, faculty, student, whoever is there listening to me this afternoon, and for a patience hearing, I hope, looking forward, after COVID, definitely I will visit your college one day. I will see that, the good things that happening there myself one day this year. Only hope is let this COVID go as early as possible. Thank you all for my patience hearing. And now over to Sumit.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving insights on National Education Policy 2020. In fact, from 1958 Radhakrishnan Commission, the first education policy, there is incredible paradigm shift to this NEP 2020. And the need of today's world is to have techno-savvy. So students, teachers, institutes, it has big role to implement this national education policy in the field. What I hope that we consider engineering or technical education, we have a big dogma of how to implement the things or what the students should learn, what are the necessity of the things. So these things will be definitely in future, the teacher role and the student role, they will come to know and try to achieve this goal within this decade. So with this, I thank you very much, sir. And now I request participants to ask any questions if they have any. So
Yeah, kindly unmute and then ask if
yes,
any queries. If you don't have at the moment, I give a second option. You can, you have seen me in the slide, first slide, my email address is there. Any one of you want any clarification, any doubts, you can even write to me offline. I know you're all tired giving talks, evening, morning, afternoon, that's the order of the day. Now, I want to share with you, we are working more now in today than what you are last year, because online takes more time, preparation, doing things. I'm sure that all of you agree with me. You want to prepare 1 hour class is easy in the blackboard. 1 hour class preparation for the online is definitely takes more time, because everybody will be listening to you. It's getting recorded. Earlier, nobody know what we taught as a teacher. Now it's in the public domain, which is good, which is how the America and all that. You cannot go to class without putting the notes and without the material. So that's a good sign. So that first 1 or 2 years will be tough for the faculty. I'm sure that we will go. Who is the TechUp coordinator?
Anshul
Is there?
Shekhar, sir, he is from electrical department. So
He
he's
may not be
active
there. It's
coordinator
okay.
here at BC.
It's okay. No problem. You just convey my, because he is the architect as a coordinator, TechUp coordinator has approved my talk. So you please convey my
Yes,
best wishes to him.
yes.
Yeah,
So
if there are no questions,
questions, yeah.
wait for 30 seconds. After that, propose vote of thanks.
Okay, sir.
Looks everybody is happy. Good. You can do that. Okay. Go ahead, Sumit.
Okay, sir. So now I request Professor Shashank Shekhar to give vote of thanks to all. Sir.
Dr. Shashank, kindly unmute and speak.
Good afternoon, Dr. L.C. Shiprakash.
Sir, good. How are you?
Fine,
Pleasure
sir.
seeing you. Yeah. Good. Tell me.
Principal Dr. Nirmal Kumar, Professor N.C. Shiprakash, coordinators of the program, Sumit Mani, Dr. Rakesh, Dr. C.M. Rajesh, my esteemed faculty members, of course, enthusiastic students. It was a sheer delight listening to Dr. N.C. Shiprakash, who appeared to be very exuberant and enthusiastic whenever I had the opportunity of listening to him. This afternoon, Dr. Shiprakash highlighted the salient features of education policy that has come up. And never in the history, any other subject has come in for experimentation so much as education. But as we look into the history of education and the seeming changes that have taken place over the period of time, all the changes have been effected to suit to the needs of the society. And we human beings are at the receiving end. Even when we look at the salient features of new education policy, you'd see that mainly the policy has been introduced. All those salient features in the education policy, they have been introduced to make the society far more vibrant, to make the society far more illuminating. That is the role of the education. And if the education, as Dr. Shiprakash earlier began his lecture with the quotes of Einstein. So the basic role of education is to bring about human character as such. And if education in any way tries to flourish, tries to bring about the wholesome change in the personality of all of us, then of course, the role of the education is rather complete. Although, while in fact you have talked about the role of the character, the shaping of the character, you have also talked about the cognitive skill, knowledge, and other things from which the flow of education follows. So ultimately, we have to take step by step in order to reach that stage of building the character. Of course, you have also laid special emphasis on technology-driven society, technology-driven education. And we cannot, in fact, ignore technology, because in any field of life, technology is playing a vital role. So is with education. Gone are those days when, in fact, the education was under the people tray, under the banyan tray. Teachers would sit there and then he would deliver to the students. Now, even the technology, in fact, is playing the role to shape the destiny of education. By destiny of education means the receiver of the education. So if at all we have to keep pace with the education, then of course technology, we have to keep, in fact, the role of technology very prominent. We have to keep it side by side. So it has to be technology driven society, it has to be technology driven education. So I'm really very excited to learn all these different aspects. And further, what I would like to tell the students, the faculty members, all of us, that whatever Dr. N.C. Prakash deliberated today, this afternoon, well, all of us need to improve upon what, in fact, he has left us with. So we need to further develop our, in fact, perception about the new education policy, and we try to implement those perceptions in our day-to-day life, in our day-to-day education, in the teaching learning process as such. Thank you, Dr. Shiv-Prakash, for being with us. I'm really very thankful to Dr. Nirmal Kumar for injecting new life blood into the spirit of the college, into the spirit of the students as well as faculty members. He, as you said, Dr. Shiv-Prakash, he is ever diligent, he is ever motivational. He always sees to it that there is something, we go on creating something, we go on achieving something new. And this is how we build a climate. This is how we build, in fact, the society. This is how we build organization. And that is what, in fact, Professor Nirmal Kumar has been doing all through his life, all through his stay in Bhagalpur College of Engineering. I congratulate, in fact, the coordinators who have been very diligently coordinating the program so well all these days in the webinars. Thank you, all the participants, to be with us this afternoon. Thank you once again to everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
I'm
Sumit.
privileged, both the great people, one at the beginning, one at the end. Both of them are, orators themselves. So good speaker, good, knowledgeable, What is your domain, by the by?
My subject is humanities.
Humanities. Great. I'm so happy. Huh? And, you used all our science and technology for your transdisciplinary. I'm so glad.
Sir, I may be odd man out among engineers.
No. You're not. You're not. I already told you in the new education policy, it is not interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, it's a transdisciplinary. Finance.
Sir.
Yeah, transdisciplinary is all about bringing, humanities and social science into it. That is what it is.
That is why I screwed my courage to enter into the field of engineering, or get into the ambit of engineering. Experts.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
No, you are wonderfully summed up, and you really start a good start and a good end. But this is not the end of the story. This is the beginning of the next, thing that we do in Bhagalpur. So once again, thank you all. And in the middle, Sumit has done a wonderful job as a coordinator. Thank you so much, Sumit. Yes, it's for success. You have successfully conducted both the webinar. Thank you. Thank every one of you. Have rest of the day a wonderful time ahead, and a great day of Mahatma Gandhi's birthday. Thank you all, and take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So is it all over? If it is over, with the permission of everyone, can I log out? Can I exit the meeting?
Yes, sir. So with this, I declare this session as closed, sir.
Very good. Very professional. Sumit is a very professional way of doing things. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.